And back on the Orange and Brown Talk podcast, Dan Labbe, Mary Kay Cabot, Ashley Bastock, Andrew Berry will speak as well at the Combine. Mary Kay, what do you have for Andrew Berry?
Instead of asking, some broader macro type questions, I'm interested in the, sort of the details of the offseason roster business and the decisions that he's going to have to make over the next few weeks. And one of the things that happens at the Combine is that general managers meet with the agents for a lot of players. They figure a lot of things out there. In fact, I remember being there last year, and that's when they met with the agent for Baker Mayfield. And, that they kind of laid out what was supposed to happen, and the signals got crossed a little bit. Obviously, if you guys remember, I think that Baker's camp interpreted what was said to them as, they're not going to be able to land a Deshaun Watson. So yeah, Baker, you're going to be back. Well, at that point, the Browns didn't even think they were going to be able to land a Deshaun Watson. I mean, who would think that he was going to want to come up north, play outside, play in this weather and all those kinds of things? Lo and behold, everything changed soon after that. But I have, sort of some micro type specific questions for Andrew Berry. And two of those questions, again, which he probably really will not answer, involve players with significant cap hits for 2023. Amari Cooper, and I've been writing about this, has an almost $24 million cap hit for 2023. That's a sizable cap hit when your quarterback has a almost $55 million cap hit and your defensive end has something like a $25 million cap hit. So I think, more so than anything, I would like to know about guys like Amari and John Johnson III, who has a 13.5. And of course, we're going to have to ask, do you have to try to do something with Deshaun's big cap number, which is that almost 55 million. So my questions, would center around those things. How are you going to clear this cap space, get the salary cap to where you need it to be, so that you can then go out and try to see if you can trade for a player that you really want, or sign a Javon Hargrave, the defensive tackle from the Eagles, or someone like that.
All right, Ashley, what do you have?
Yeah, I have defense on my mind today, I guess. I was going back and looking at what Andrew and Kevin said, at their postseason joint press conference together. And of course, a hot topic of discussion was defensive tackle and the lack of production there. And at the time, Andrew said, we want to, any defensive tackles that we bring into the equation with a new defensive coordinator, that they would want them to match schematically with what that coordinator was trying to do. Well, this was pre, us knowing that Jim Schwartz was the guy. So I'm really curious to see what kind of qualities they might be looking for then. And I think the other question that gets asked a lot is, analytically, they haven't, put a huge premium on that position for various reasons. So has that thinking changed given the typical schematics of Jim Schwartz defenses?
Okay, so my question, I'm going to stay on the defensive side of the ball. This is a question that I'm sure Kevin will get, some variation of this, a question that Andrew will get as well. Are we sure Greg Newsome's going to be happy next year? It might not matter. It might not matter, but
such a good one, Dan.
Are we sure? And if he's not, what's going to happen?
Great question, Dan. That should have been our first one out of the gate. Why did it take so long?
So, yeah, I mean, that's again going to be another storyline until we hear from Greg, until we kind of hear from Jim and how he wants to use these guys. What are you going to do with Greg? I think that's probably going to be a headline at some point next week, right, Mary Kay?
Yes, absolutely. After he answered that question, when the fan on Twitter asked him if he would be open to playing inside again next year, and he answered NO in all caps. And then he doubled down when Perion Winfrey sent the meme out saying hell no. So we know it's an issue. And, just for some reason, I happened to see that again today. And it's still there. It's not like Greg has deleted it. It's still there, even though, I wrote about it. I'm sure other people wrote about it too. So what is going to happen? I don't think that when that question is asked of either Andrew or Kevin or both at the combine, that they're going to make any kind of a big deal out of it at all. I think they're going to shrink it up and make it into a tiny little thing. And they're going to say, we've got, 3 really good cornerbacks that can play, multiple positions and that they have versatility. And we're going to see how it all plays out. And we love Greg, and off we go to the races. So I don't think they're going to make a big deal out of it at all.
I almost feel like that's sort of what's going to happen.